Hello and welcome. Very interesting stories in today's video from Malicious Compliance, amitheasshole and Nuclear Revenge. There's titles and timestamps in the description. Let's begin with the first story from Nuclear Revenge with the title "Fire Me for Speaking Up, Enjoy Going Out of Business." Many years ago, I worked at an automotive repair shop that was owned by a very nasty person. This person actually had two shops that he ran, and the best way I can describe him was as a tyrant. Both shops had cameras, and he would watch us work from the comfort of his home. If he saw something that he didn't like, such as taking a 5-minute smoke break, or not sweeping for half a minute during downtime, or if he just wanted to bust balls, he would call the shop and harass us. Or better yet, at times, show up and harass us in person. In addition, he would regularly berate us for no reason, threaten to not pay us because the shops weren't busy, and would have an absolute meltdown if you dared to question his authority. It was spectacular, in the worst of ways. After working for him for a few months and dealing with his shenanigans and getting sick of pointless arguments with him, I started to reconsidering my employment there. Around the same time, the owner decided to move me from one shop to the other. Really, for no reason other than likely to try to push me out. As that was what he did with the few people that I had already worked with. Odd coincidence being that I had not discussed my thoughts of leaving with anyone. But I digress. I genuinely disliked the idea of working at this other shop. It was older and a bit run down. Plus, it was in a pretty terrible area with high crime. But I wanted to line something up elsewhere before I jumped ship. So I made a move. This is where the beginning of the end started for old Mr. Owner. Once I got settled into the new shop, I got to talking with my fellow technicians. As it turns out, the owner was unsurprisingly a racist scumbag, and every single one of the employees at this location, aside from me, was African American. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say it's a miracle that the owner came into the shop, said what he said and walked out breathing. In addition, he would regularly send people home with no pay for the day just to be an ass. This went on for a few weeks. Him coming by, being nasty to all of us, and I was over it. And was just about to leave as I had lined up other employment, and the other techs were also over it. I went to give the owner my 2-week notice via phone, discreetly, which I should have known wasn't a great idea. And instead of discussing it like a human, he decided to come down and talk face to face. Well, our friend was so incensed that I put my notice in that he forced me to clock out and go home. And also forced 2 other technicians who decided to stand up for me to do the same. I decided that I had enough of this guy's shit. And that not only did he deserve to have some kind of reciprocation against him, but the other technicians deserved better than to continually being walked on. So I filed a complaint with the Department of Labor and outlined everything. Within a few days they had launched an investigation, and of course the owner found out who filed the complaint and called the shop and gave me hell about it. Stupidly, because the phones he had were on recorded lines. Guess who had request to listen to that conversation? In the end, I was terminated by him prior to my 2 weeks being up, as were the 2 technicians who stood behind me. I filed for unemployment, which he fought me on by filing appeals with a judge, then not showing up 3 times in a row. This prompted the judge to bar him from requesting appeals against me and granting me full unemployment pay. Months later, I got a written letter from him extending an apology and offered to work for him again. 2 months later, I got a letter from the Department of Labor saying that the investigation was closed, and that he had been found guilty of multiple charges and was barred from operating a shop or any other business in the state for several years. The next story was posted on Malicious Compliance and has the title "Coffee Karen." Dear daughter, 15, works casual at a kid's recreational center and only just started behind a kiosk counter. Enter a mom, Karen, who orders a coffee at $4.40 and wants to pay by card. Dear daughter apologizes and explains minimum card payment is $5 and she can either pay by cash or can buy something extra to take it up to $5. Karen gets angry and demanding and says this has never happened before and insists that she's paid by card 100 times before. Eventually, Karen demands to see the manager. Enter the manager, who takes over the transaction and cops the wrath of Karen. Manager swipes the card and hands over the freshly brewed coffee. Karen, having won, walks off with a shit-eating grin and a narky comment of, "You have to train your staff better." Dear daughter quietly turns to her manager and inquires if it's okay to charge less than $5 to card. "Nah, I'd charge her $5 for her coffee, she does it all the time, but I just overcharge her every time, but she thinks she's won." Miss 15 never felt so satisfied ever. The next story has the title, "Am I the asshole for mocking my friend's husband's weight?" My 22 female best friend Jenny, 23 female, just recently had a baby with her husband Tom, 25 male. My boyfriend and I got to meet their baby boy for the first time last weekend when they came over to our flat for dinner. We have a hot tub on our balcony that my parents gave us for Christmas last year, and I had told them to bring swimwear so we could go in after dinner. My boyfriend wasn't up for it, so he held the baby while us three got ready to get in the tub. Jenny was the last person to get changed and came out of the bathroom in a bikini. I thought she looked amazing, really happy and glowing, but Tom kind of laughed and said something about her still having some weight to lose before she'd be as attractive as she was before her pregnancy. I was a bit stunned by that comment, and even though Jenny didn't say anything, her smile disappeared and she looked obviously uncomfortable. She and I had talked about her struggling with weight gain during her pregnancy, and I thought Tom's comment was more than insensitive. I got angry, because I started wondering what he might be saying to her in private, if he was comfortable dropping lines like that in front of other people. So I responded with, "She just had a baby. What's your excuse?" The dude has a hefty beer belly and a double chin, but thinks he can joke about a new mom's weight? He got really defensive and told me that I need to learn how to take a joke before stomping off to the hot tub. Jenny chuckled at my comment and I thought that was that. But when they left for the night, Tom pulled me aside and told me to keep my nose out of other people's business. I don't think I was entirely in the wrong, but my boyfriend told me I shouldn't have reacted at all because it really wasn't my business, and I think Tom's reaction speaks for itself. And it makes me wonder whether I might have been the asshole in that situation. Not the asshole. You weren't just sticking up for your friend, you personally objected to his statement. He made it your business when he said it in front of you. And someone who used to be the meek type who wouldn't stick up for themselves, thank you. The world would be a better place if more people shut down assholes' comments in public, in the moment. The fact that he pulled her aside to tell her to mind her own business too, trying to intimidate the little lady into minding her manners. He sounds horrible. Not the asshole. Classic, it was just a joke. When in reality, it was a passive-aggressive teardown. And that concludes everything for this video. I hope you had a great time, I know I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.